Hi everyone, my name is Tim Kiker. I am a student at Fullerton College in my second semester, and I'm here to review the book Forward, a Memoir by Abby Wambach. Um, I chose this book because as much as I'm an avid fan of all sports, I know very little about soccer. I like to watch it, but I don't actually quite understand all the rules specifically, so I try to just follow along as best I can. So that was one of the choices. And the other reason was because when I was looking through all the options of different stories to tell, um, guys like Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, all these people came out that I thought would be really exciting. But when I came across Forward, I had thought that was really exciting that I know very little about Abby Wambach. The last time I really followed anything about soccer besides the last Men's World Cup and this past Women's World Cup was the 2015 Women's World Cup when they finally won it. And this, incidentally, has to do with everything about that. Abby wrote this book shortly after that World Cup when she retired. So this was very exciting to read. I thought it'd be very interesting to kind of cover a lot of the topics of this book report and found it to be a lot more exciting than I ever expected. So one of the things I found the most interesting about this story was just learning a lot about Abby Wambach, who she was, and some interesting things that I never would have thought of. Usually when you think soccer, you think Ronaldo, you think Messi. If you look at women's soccer, a lot of people just think Alex Morgan, or maybe you go back to Hope Solo, Mia Hamm, a lot of different people. Abby Wambach's a name that I'm familiar with, a face I'm familiar with, but wasn't necessarily someone I was personally familiar with. And in reading this, it really read a lot like she was sitting there talking to me and having this whole conversation with me. It was amazing to find out that Abby Wambach is the international leader between men and women's for most goals scored with 184, which is really cool because then it goes on immediately to tell you that 77 of those were done by a header. So, and that was really neat as well to think. That doesn't seem like the most common way to score, and almost half of her goals were via her head as opposed to her feet. And that does in large part because of her frame. She's 5'11", which is a lot larger than a lot of women in professional soccer. So she kind of used that to her advantage to bully in. So that was really exciting to learn about her. I know when looking at the impact on society, Abby Wambach being an out lesbian, I thought that would be a really cool part to cover for this book report as well, knowing that she had to deal with that in such a spotlight. And as much as that is a really interesting part of the story, it was more exciting to learn about her impact on just women's soccer in general. Went through about 3 phases of trying to jumpstart women's professional soccer as a league. With her not necessarily being the face, but one of the pioneers of all these different leagues. And that was really exciting as well, to just see what kind of an impact she had day in, day out to try to really make something of women's soccer and put it on the map. And that was really, really cool to see because now we do have a women's soccer league and we do now have a second consecutive World Cup championship with the women's national team, which is really exciting. Something I learned that I didn't already know was pretty much everything. I didn't know really anything about Abby Wambach. It was really interesting to see her career and how it kind of developed as she progressed from a high school superstar to a national talent, going to college at the University of Florida instead of the University of North Carolina, which is a powerhouse of college soccer at the time. And she actually helped deliver Florida the first win, and North Carolina is one of their first loss in 15 years in the national championship game, which is really cool. But I think the biggest thing that I really harp on in my book report is learning that she does not really see herself as passionate about soccer in the way that you'd expect someone to be who's so into their sport. A lot of it was driven by attention. A lot of it was driven by her relationships with her family, her mom specifically. And it was just an interesting turn to say that, she covers it a few times that for everyone playing in this league, they were, there because soccer is their one and only love. And for her, it was never about soccer. It was always about something else, which really in turn is in the relationships with the people she's around. I really enjoyed this book. I definitely recommend it to anyone. It read so quickly because, like I said, a lot of it reads very much like she's just sitting there talking to you, telling you her story. There's very little droll in it. It just kind of powers through it really quickly. And I definitely think it's worth a read. So if you get time, check it out. Thank you so much for listening to me, and good luck with the rest of your reports.